Om
Asmadgurubhyo namaha. Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyah. Om
Namah
Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyah. Om Purnamidam Purnamadaha Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Ishavashyamidagam sarvam Yatkincha jagatyam jagat Tena tyaktena bunjithaha Magruddhastasya svidhanam. Om Kashyapanvaya sanjatam Narayana padashritam Sriman Vande Yatishtasya Krishnam Kamalapatraksham Punyashravanakirtanam Vasudevam Jagadyonim Naumi Narayanam Harim Krishnaya Yadavendraya Gnanamudraya Yogine Nathaya Rukminishaya Namo Vedanta Vedine Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha.
Jai Shri Narayana.
Jai Shri Narayana.
Jai Shri Narayana. So Shloka, start reviewing 48.
48, yeah.
I can go ahead and.
Yeah, please.
Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena agnirina rivavrutaha. Jai Sriman Narayana, chapter 18, sloka 48 summary. Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, karma yoga that is born from one's own nature should not be given up, even though it is filled with pains. All works are covered with pains indeed, like fire is covered by smoke. Jai Sriman Narayana.
Jai Sriman Narayana. Any questions on this?
Here they were saying all works. Can you please explain one more time, sir? What is the meaning of works?
Any work that we do.
Oh, okay.
Anybody. Yeah, so it doesn't matter what work it is. I mean, any activity.
Livelihood, are they talking about livelihood or daily chores and all those all are together, or is there any difference? He said
any activity. It could be like a nitya activity, like anything that we do on a daily basis. Naimitika, that is done occasionally, and any activity, even karma karmas. So anything that we do here, there is no distinction whether it is our swadharma. I mean, swadharma in the sense based on varna, ashrama, dharmas, doesn't matter whether it is, let us say, I am, belonging to a particular class. I'm doing the activities related to that particular class, or I'm not doing my activities, but I'm doing someone else's or some other type of work. It really doesn't matter. Everything is covered with pains only. Okay, so if we are thinking that I can somehow get rid of what I'm doing because I don't like it, I have whatever I'm doing is filled with pains, then and do something else what is not assigned to me, not prescribed to me, thinking that it is not going to give me pain. What Lord Krishna is saying is all works are covered with pains. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing work A or work B, activity A or activity B. It really doesn't matter. All works are covered with pains only.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So the work itself is, there is one more thing that we can extend it. Pain is physical pain. That's what we think, right? Physical pain or mental pain, right? But pain is also the karmic bondage that is given to us. So, you don't see it, right? So, for example, I have desire, materialistic desire, and I do some activity in order to fulfill my materialistic desire, and I, after doing that activity, yes, I was successful. I was able to enjoy, right? We don't see any pain there. What is the pain in that? Let us say the activity itself is not even painful, or I was able to tolerate it. Okay. Say, it is, that activity is enjoyable for me. So there is no pain at all involved. Then we think, oh, why is this activity involved? Why is Lord Krishna saying all activities are covered with pain? Because every activity, if it is not done properly, it is going to give us karmic bondage.
Right.
So karmic bondage is not something that we can feel it as painful at that moment. But it is painful because the karmic bondage is going to make us take birth again. And every birth is painful. No matter how much rich, how much powerful, in what class of the society that we are born, which country we are born, male or female, every birth is painful, is what Lord Krishna said in previous chapter. So it is not like, the body goes through all kinds of changes, and then we meet all kinds of people in our life, and not everything goes according to our expectations, right? If we are living with expectations, and then our body goes through physical pains, mental pains, and there are certain things that occur to us even though we do not anticipate, or we do not think we deserve them, but they still occur to us, like health problems or money problems, or no matter how much hard we work, we are not getting the result. So these are all the things that these are all painful. And what is painful in a very large sense, a higher sense, is that anything that takes us away from Paramatma is painful. Anything that gives us birth, anything that puts us in the cycle of samsara is painful. So the pain is not based on whether or my body is getting hurt physically, or I'm getting troubled mentally. Not like that. Pain is so for us, anything that is taking us away from Paramatma is a pain, and anything that is bringing us closer to Paramatma is happiness. So Because anything that is bringing us closer to Paramatma means we are getting rid of our karmic bondage. We are we are on the path towards liberation, so that we don't have to take birth again and again. So, and every birth is painful. So we are avoiding that painful birth. So we are happy. It is leading us to the happiness. But if we, like, no matter whether we do the activity or whether we don't do the activity, if we don't do it correctly, it is acquiring karmic bondage for us. So, for example, something is prescribed for me. I do not even do that activity. So, whatever I'm supposed to do, if I don't do it also, that gives me karmic bondage. Right. So if I do that, but do it with the intention that I am doing it, this work belongs to me, and the results also belong to me for my own enjoyment. If you do that, then again the karmic bondage acquires.
Okay.
Right. So all activities are filled with pains because they are going to acquire us karmic bondage. And that is one reason why in one of the previous chapters, one of the questions was, okay, what if I don't even do any activity? Then I'm not going to get any pain or any karmic bondage at all, because only if I do activity, then I get the karmic bondage, right? But if I choose not to do any activity, then there's no karmic bondage. And Lord Krishna very clearly clarified that even if you don't do the activity, you still get the karmic bondage. So giving up the activity is not the solution. Giving up the attachment, giving up the result, that is the solution there. So that's what the sannyasa or tyaga he explained, right? So if we do it with the tyaga, phala sangha kartrutva tyagas, then we are not going to acquire karmic bondage. If we do, it could be any activity. So we went through, so he had to explain, Lord Krishna had to explain there are 4 classes, and every class the work is assigned based on their inherent quality, and if they do if any of those classes of people, if they do their activities with tyaga, sannyasa, then there is no karmic bondage, and they are always on the path towards liberation. Doesn't matter whether it is class A or class B or work A or work B, but if you don't do it properly, that properly is as a worship to Paramatma with the sannyasa bhava. If you don't do that, then it is painful. So Lord Krishna is saying karma yoga that is born from one's own nature should not be given up. Okay, so all works are filled with pains only. So he's going to clarify later. So how we need to do the activities.
But all karmic bondage should be nullified for the liberation, right? I mean, like, for example, any Atma, right, taking births, and
Right.
that Atma has been doing good. I mean, he's been good for so many janmas, but still there is a chance they still have some karmic bondage left. So they won't attain. Or they will, like, but they'll be blessed one time, like, even though they are left with some.
Right. So that's a very good question. So there is no measure on how much karmic bondage we are carrying. Right. I mean, if let us say something is 1,000 kgs, yeah, you can measure it. If it is a trillion kgs, how do you measure? Trillion.5 kgs, I mean, there's no way to measure even a bigger number, let us say, right? And if the number is so big, and cutting down by a few is not even going to make any difference, right?
Right, right.
So our karmic bondage could be as high as that, because we are in this universe not from this particular kalpa, like
Yeah, so
from the time beginning. We are not just this Chaturayuga,
Mm.
right? Not just with this Brahma.
Mm.
Okay, so we are in the 28th Chaturayuga, and the 24th Chaturayuga is Sri Rama, and 28th Chaturayuga we are here. Difference is 18 million years.
Mhm.
So imagine first Chaturayuga would be how far, and that is only for this Brahma, right?
Mhm.
Now, for this day of the Brahma.
Yeah,
So like that, I mean, this Brahma has is we are in the like 50% of Brahma's age, this age. I mean, 50th year or something like that, some calculations. So imagine how many millions, billions, trillions of years we have been going through. Okay, so we don't know how much karmic bondage we have acquired, and so it is. We typically get a question saying that, oh, I'm doing everything fine in this particular life, but I am facing all kinds of difficulties, right?
Mm.
I mean, we can imagine why is that occurring, because of the karmic bondage, not just previous life, the previous to previous, because one life is not sufficient to experience all the karmic bondages that we had from the past, right? I mean, we acquire more karmic bondage in 1 second that we need to experience for several lives, several lives.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is given that we, because we are going through so many millions of years, we have so much karmic bondage. Now let us come to your question. So then, how can we get even liberation? Like, what is that we need to do to reduce our karmic bondage to zero? Because typically we think that karmic bondage has to become zero in order to get liberation, right? I mean, as long as we carry karmic bondage, we will take birth. That is the rule. So if that rule is followed, then if it we will not get birth when the karmic bondage becomes zero, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But with our efforts, karmic bondage will never become zero. With our efforts in one lifetime will never become zero.
Right.
And it, I mean, maybe we will, go from one better life to another better life, and then the best life and all that. But still, there is no way to measure whether, oh yeah, now I can see that my karmic bondage is becoming zero, because there is no way we can do our like log into a system and then find out what is our loan, right?
Yeah.
How much bondage is there for us? So there is no way to measure that or check our status online. So given the scenario that how much karmic bondage we can acquire in a particular day in one lifetime, multiply by like a billions of lifetimes that we might have gone through. Some of them could be very, very bad. Okay, so then it could be a lot, and whatever we try to do by ourselves to correct our karmic bondage may still fall short.
Tough. Yeah.
So then the question is, okay, then why do I even worry? I mean, why do I have to care? Because there's no way I'm going to get liberated. Then I don't have to do any of these things, right? I mean, all these things you are saying, okay, my goal is to get liberation and I have to be on this path. Actually, Lord Krishna explained in 66 sloka. That is what, in order to give that sloka only, Lord Krishna took birth. I mean, came down to earth in that avatara to tell us that he is the one who can give the liberation to us. He didn't say, I will make your karmic bondage zero and I will give you. I mean, whatever he will do doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to us. He will make it zero. He will not make it zero, but still he gives us liberation. Like if let us say I need to enter a particular restricted place, and I need a pass to enter that restricted place, if that place is owned by somebody and that person comes, whether I have a pass or not doesn't really matter, and he comes and says, okay, come with me, right? I mean, then nobody's going to stop. So whether we have karmic bondage or not will not even come into picture at that moment of getting liberation. However, having lesser karmic bondage will put us in the right path towards remembering Paramatma. So will make us more sattvic, will be on our path towards liberation. Because we saw that, right? Like if our karmic bondage is more, then it will bring us down. We will, even though I may get some knowledge like, okay, Bhagavad Gita and all that, I'll still not do it. I will not follow it. I will not be able to follow from step A to B to C. I will not be able to grow because the karmic bondage will always pull me down. Okay, so it is like I will not be able to swim if there is a huge rock on my feet, right? Tied to my feet. I mean, how can I swim? Yeah, I know if I have to float, I need to swim. But there's a big rock that is pulling me down. So I'm going to sink. So the lesser karmic bondage we have, the better chance that we have to be on the path towards liberation and follow these principles to make us ourselves eligible to get liberation. And then once we are making ourselves eligible for liberation, then Paramatma will bless us one fine day that, okay, now it is time for your liberation. Okay, but if we don't follow any of these principles, then there's absolute guarantee that he is not going to do it, because he's not biased. Like what would what would be others saying, right? That, I mean, if there are 10 people and they're all doing atrocious activities, atrocities, committing crimes, Paramatma comes and says, okay, one of you, okay, this person A, I'm going to give liberation, right? Then what would be the justification for it? So the only justification would be Paramatma is biased towards that person A. And Lord Krishna very clearly said, I have no bias. So everybody has to follow the rule. Everybody has to be on the path towards liberation. And only then Paramatma, we make ourselves eligible to be on the path towards liberation. Paramatma will give us moksha. So that is, I mean, 66 sloka, hopefully we'll discuss in detail.
Even unknowingly we do certain things, like we are in learners, right? Every day we learn things. Certain things we didn't know, like, oh, you are not supposed to do that, but you are doing all life. Even that will add to karmic bondage, right? Whether you know it or unknow it.
Yes.
So it will affect negative only. Okay.
Knowingly or unknowingly, whatever activities that we do will give us karmic bondage.
Yeah.
So just by surrendering to Paramatma and then still doing all kinds of activities is not going to help. Okay, I mean, all that is going to come, like all through Bhagavad Gita is explained, and 18th chapter is kind of summary of everything. So we're going through step by step. So here we are saying that we should not give up Karma Yoga. Okay, yeah. Karma Yoga is our nature. We should not give up Karma Yoga. So yeah, but even though all activities are filled with pains, we should not give up, because that is it is born from our nature, and by just giving up, we are not getting rid of the karmic bondage. Actually, doing Karma Yoga properly, that means Karma Yoga is proper. Doing karmas properly as karma yoga will actually cut down our karmic bondage. So it's better to follow karma yoga than to give it up.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 49.
I can go ahead, sir.
Sure.
Chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, Sloka 49. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruha naishkarmya siddham paramam sanyasenadhi gacchati.
Okay.
Jai Srimanarayana, chapter 18, sloka 49 summary. Lord Krishna said, one who has unattached intellect everywhere in action and results, etc. One who has conquered mind in heat and cold, pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor. One who is free from longing in sense objects attains supreme state of being free from all activity of the senses by sannyasa. Threefold renunciation of phala, sangha, katrutva. Jai Srimanna.
Jai Srimanarayana. So basically, Lord Krishna is giving us the key here to not acquire karmic bondage, even though we do our activities. So he's saying we need to have unattached intellect. We need to conquer our mind. Okay. So that it is not affected by the dualities. Okay, we treat everything with indifference. I mean, we will feel it. I mean, it's not like our skin is not going to feel heat or cold, but our mind is not going to be affected by it. Typically when I shout at the weather or shout at somebody who made the situation cold or heat, right? Something like that, if you don't like it, or run after it, like, okay, if I like cold weather, I need to do all my activity to make sure that I live in cold weather. So it is running after it. So mind is now running after the senses. So conquered mind is not running after senses and treating these dualities with indifference, and not having desires, right, or longing for sense objects. So all materialistic desires, getting rid of all materialistic desires, and doing all activities with sannyasa buddhi. Sannyasa, so that is phala, sangha, kartrutva, tyagas. If we do that, then we will not be affected by the activity. So it is basically being free from the activity. And this is putting us in the next level, taking us to the next level. So it's like kind of graduating. So one is, so we are not getting any more karmic bondage, but it doesn't stop there. So we have a next level. So we'll have to see what is that next level in the next lokas. Okay, any questions, Andy? No? Okay.
No, sir.
Sloka 50.
I can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, sloka 50. Siddhim prapto yatha brahma tatapnoti nibodha me samasenaiva kaunteya nishta jnanasya ya para. Jai Sriman Narayana, chapter 18, sloka 50 summary. Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, listen from me briefly. How one who has attained success in reaching meditation state attains Brahma, self, Atma in purest state, which is the supreme goal of knowledge. Jai Sriman Narayana.
Jai Sri Narayana. Right. So after reaching the state of that siddhi, in doing the karma yoga, right? That is the state of meditation, we're calling it as, that state where we are not acquiring any more karmic bondage, right? So our dhyana yoga. So in that meditation state, what do we need to practice, or what kind of qualities that we need to have in order to reach the state of self-realization? Okay, so so that is, which is also the goal of knowledge, jnana. So it's almost like you have a karma yoga path and the jnana yoga path towards the higher state. Okay, so one can take jnana yoga path, means jnana yoga supported by karma yoga path, if one is fit to do that, eligible to do that. But for all of us, karma yoga path is the one that is most fit for us, and karma yoga supported by jnana yoga. That is the how we can go to the next level. So that is what Lord Krishna explained, and now he's going to explain further how one attains the self-realization. Brahma attains Brahma here. So we explained, I think, in the next explain later. This Brahma is actually not Paramatma. It is Atma. Somebody may, so Brahma, of course, Brahma also refers to Paramatma or God, right? And then if you just say Brahma is also four-headed Brahma, but we also refer to Paramatma as Brahma or Parabrahma. So, but it is here, it is Atma only. Okay, self, we. Okay. Why is it like that? That is the key here. A lot of confusion in terms of, am I God myself, right? Is self also God? That question is what a lot of people try to understand, explain. So we can see from the way Lord Krishna explained what is the meaning of Brahma here, and that it is in this particular context here, in this stage of life. We are going from stage A to B to C, right? So in this particular stage, he's saying one attains Brahma here. And at a later stage also, he'll say one attains Brahma. You have to do more in order to attain Brahma. Now, this itself is God, then you don't have any other stage, right? Isn't it? If I say that this is Paramatma, so he's saying that, oh yeah, I mean, you'll attains Paramatma here. Then they should stop here. I mean, then there shouldn't be any more. So after the next 3 slokas, Bhagavad Gita should stop. But it doesn't. So that means this is not God. This is not Paramatma. And this is not body. Isn't it? I mean, is it body? Definitely not. Okay. So it is not body and it is not Paramatma. Then what is it? It must be Atma. And if it is Atma, then Atma must be different from Paramatma, because if Atma is same as Paramatma, then he would have stopped here. So we'll go through and see that logic as we move along.
Okay.
So what is the means that one who has attained perfection in doing karma yoga, okay, gets the self-realization? So that means we will understand in the next 3 slokas. So that whatever is the means, so the self-realization is also the goal of Jnana Yoga. So through Jnana Yoga path, we can achieve self-realization, or through Karma Yoga path, we achieve self-realization. And Paramatma said, follow Karma Yoga. Because he knows that we will fail. If we don't have the inherent ability to practice Jnana Yoga, because it's filled with difficulties. He explained all that in the previous slokas. We will not be able to get to that state. But Karma Yoga, we follow, it is a safe path for us. There's no way that we will fall down. And it is safer for us. So that's why we learned about Karma Yoga, and now we are going to learn about what are the means to achieve self-realization.
But winning over ego is a bit difficult, sir.
Ego.
Yeah, I mean, I know we learned all these things, but still somewhere it pulls you down, right? However we try, I mean, personally, I'm talking about myself. And the more is like, now I know, see, earlier, I didn't realize that was ego or what was the, cause for misery. Now we know that, right? Why is it happening? That's even of course it is helping, but still it's bothering me. Oh, learning Gita again, you are, experiencing this, that even hurts. However we try,
In my experience, the only, or I would say, the best way to come out of ego, you are absolutely correct, because ego flashes as soon as we try to do something or think of something, and we fall back into the routine. So I think my experience, the only way you can come out of ego is to be, when you start seeing Paramatma everywhere, right? Like it is explained in Vibhuti Yoga or Vishwasandarsana Yoga. So we have to cultivate that. Initially it may be difficult, but with our satsang and yoga practice, and even when we get time, 15-20 minutes every day, when you cultivate the feeling, it's like an exercise, mental exercise you do. You look at a tree and visualize there is Paramatma in the tree. You look at your someone who is bothering you. You look at, when you start doing that, gradually there is a chance to get rid of you. It's just my experience.
Seeing a Paramatma in tree is easy when compared to seeing a Paramatma in person who is bothering.
Yes, agreed.
That too, right?
But
That too, like when they are not, the other parties. I mean, again, dharmam, all these things is perspective. Maybe the good for me, maybe not good for other people. But still, especially when other party, we know that they are not following dharma or, not fair enough. That is when it's really, bothering me.
What is, I mean, that's a very good question, actually. It is,
Uh,
it is answered in the future slokas. I mean, so wonderful that Bhagavad Gita is able to answer all this. But before I give the answer,
mhm.
what do we, what is the ego definition? I mean, what is that ego? What do you think is that ego?
ego is a kartritva bhavana. I am doing it.
I am doing it, and also like, okay, why suppose somebody is not listening to you, right? You feel like you. I'm not saying either they are very, I mean, in a status low or high, not like that. Two people in general, they should be listening to us say, and they're not.
Then
Kalisa
our
Dharma.
ego gets hurt. So
Yes, it hurts.
typically that is what we say as, I mean,
Yeah.
ego context is used typically when my ego got hurt or his ego got hurt, like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, so ego got hurt means I'm feeling bad about it, or I'm going to become angry and all that. So it will either I become sad, that somebody didn't listen to me, so it
Or,
hurt my ego. So I become sad about it, or I
anger.
become angry.
Angry. Yeah. Either.
I will
Yeah.
show,
You are
because
absolutely right.
so ego is used in that context. Typically, ego is I feeling, I am body. I mean, I am teaching right now, let us say. No, there's no problem,
Right.
thinking that I am teaching. But as soon as some reaction comes to it, comes from my action, okay, that reaction tends to be unfavorable to me. So that is when we say ego got hurt.
Right.
The ego got hurt is that I did something and they commented on it, or they didn't listen to me, or whatever is the scenario. Like if somebody is singing, okay, singing, they put their heart into it, and then they got, hey, how you're not singing well, right? So they get hurt. Their ego gets hurt. Or I think I'm helping my wife or some spouse, so our kids, let us say, and think that I'm doing a great job, I'm doing everything for them, and they don't reciprocate, then I get hurt. So it is that reaction that we experience for what we are doing, thinking that we are doing it. Okay, so that is what is the problem. As long as we think we are doing it and there's no reaction to it, I mean, nobody cares. I'm right now breathing, right? I'm breathing myself. There's no reaction to it, and there's no problem. Even though it is not me who has the ability to breathe, but my ego doesn't get hurt there, or having that ego is not a big problem for me. So in order to come out of that ego situation, ego getting hurt situation, the question that we need to ask is, whose work are we doing here? And who is making us work? Okay. So if it is my work and somebody is commenting on my work, then my ego gets hurt. If it is not even my work, then somebody comments on it, then I don't care, right? It doesn't affect me. One example I'll tell, like let us say there is a procedure I need to follow. Okay, in your office, you have to follow a procedure. You exactly followed the procedure, and somebody commented on it. What do you say? What will you say? You'll say that I just did according to what the procedure says. If you have a problem with it, go and ask that person who wrote the procedure. You don't get hurt at all saying that, hey, why are you commenting? I mean, if he also agrees that you are doing exactly what whatever is written, right? So then there is absolutely no ego getting hurt there. So you are following a procedure that is given to you. Any comment goes to the person who wrote the procedure, isn't it? Right. So there is absolutely no way your ego will get hurt. Okay. And the person who gave the procedure to you is the is the best of all. Okay, let us say if he's the best of all, he knows the best, he writes the best procedure that anybody can think of, and you followed the procedure and somebody comments on it, you laugh at that person and that you don't understand. And if you have a problem with it, you go and ask that person, right, who wrote the procedure, isn't it? I mean, you are totally out of loop there in terms of you getting hurt at all, isn't it? So basically what Lord Krishna is going to say is that I mean, it has been said all throughout Bhagavad Gita, this entire Karma Yoga and all that. So when we are doing any activity, am I doing the activity that I want to do, or am I doing the prescribed activity? See, this is where people have a problem saying that, why should I do prescribed activity? You're making me slave, right? Isn't it? So if I do my activity, if I design my own activity, do my own activity the way I want, I am making myself, exposing myself to all kinds of criticism and pain. Okay. If I'm just doing what is prescribed for me, okay, and I just follow whatever is there, then there's no way I'm responsible for any criticism, right? It doesn't pain me at all. So if the work is not my work, if the work given to me is not my, the procedure given to me is not my procedure, if the ability given to me is not my own thinking, my own stuff, and I just did whatever I'm supposed to do, then the result, based on that result, whatever feedback that we get is not going to hurt us. Okay. So that is why Karma Yoga, if you follow Karma Yoga, we are going to be on the path towards liberation. If you are following Jnana Yoga, we are going to be, one who is fit to follow the Jnana Yoga, that's fine for them. But somebody who doesn't even have their ego under control, okay, they will never be able to rise up. Ego under control in the sense that thinking that I am doing my own activity by my own abilities for my own happiness. Okay, so if I convert it, if I change it to, I am doing Paramatma's activities for his own happiness with the abilities that he gave to me, and I am doing my best as I can. Okay, so if then whatever comes is not our problem. So our ego doesn't get hurt at all. Of course, we don't even have that ego saying that I am doing it, right? This is me. So if somebody, going back to your example of somebody doesn't listen to us, right? Are you saying something that is in the procedure? Prescribe whatever is prescribed? or is it your own thinking that you are telling somebody to do it? Okay, if whatever is prescribed is what you're saying, then either they don't do it or they do it. I mean, it becomes immaterial for us. Like, you don't get hurt if you think this is my own work, right? Then somebody doesn't listen will hurt you. If it is somebody else's work that you're telling, I mean, the best example is that the office work. Typically, we just follow procedures, whatever is written. We have no issues at all. I mean, that's the reason why everything is documented as procedures. So people somehow accept procedures in office, but they don't accept procedures outside. And procedures are there for us to follow. In office, I can just go and sit in any chair that I want, and open any account I want, and then start coding somebody else's code. Right? I mean, or decide myself either I want to attend a meeting or not, or prepare some forms or not. I mean, immediately people throw me out, right? But in life, unfortunately, we tend to think that everything is my own. Okay, I am the independent agent. I am the agent of the work. Everything belongs to me. So we naturally, when that is there, then we expose ourselves to all kinds of problems. And then we have to accept it also, that whether somebody comments, somebody doesn't follow what we are saying, somebody criticizes us, everything we have to accept, because when we think that it is my own thing, I'm doing it, then we have to take the result also as our own. That means whatever comments are there, we have to accept, right? So in order to not be impacted, the best way to do is always follow prescribed duty. And if it is prescribed, then we don't have any issue at all.
Yeah, we do, sir. I mean, yeah, that's related to work. Like, by God's grace, right? That really helps in work life, like, to maintain the stress and all that. What I'm saying is, like, somebody is taking advantage of you, right? I know, like, God will be looking at all of us, and he'll bless, accordingly. Like, okay, if I'm really right, if somebody else is taking advantage of me wrong way, yeah, he will get his punishment. That's a different thing. But that satisfaction we get, right, if I don't show them the consequence, I think that is where my ego that is where I'm always failure. I do, even in regular, not only work, right? Something we have to do, two families have to do something. We know that they are not doing their part, but they are winning, they are getting away. So that is where ego, I think my ego is playing, and it is hurting. I am helpless, I feel that helplessness. I do perfectly, like,
I mean,
because of
your ego should not get hurt if whatever
yes,
you're saying is exactly
exactly
as per the procedure, right?
right. I
So
mean,
procedure in the sense that you're not doing something outside the bounds of varnashrama, right? So if as long as that is there, and if they don't follow, then it is up to them. And actually, that is why Lord Krishna was saying that every activity is filled with pains only. I mean, the fact that we take birth is painful. So there's no way we can avoid any of such thing. So if we recognize that, then we will be actually going towards a higher state. As long as we are getting affected by all these small things happening around, then we will not
I
go
know
into the
it's
next
like a
stage.
yeah.
So it is, we need to know that actually it comes later, like prasannatma, right? So so prasannatma is something that is having calm undisturbed mind. Okay. Calm, undisturbed mind when nothing is happening? No, when everything is happening.
Everything is happening. Yeah. Yeah.
So how will somebody attain that state? Is they have to go through this karma yoga practice. They have to first know who they are, and the atma, and so all those steps, like 36 qualities, 36 practices in 12th chapter. So I mean, if we follow these things in a methodical way, again, I am able to follow by myself is should be taken out. I mean, it is Paramatma who will give me the ability to follow them. Then I don't have to. I mean, it is not like I have to take total responsibility myself, and then I am doing it and I am following all these things. That will go away. It is Paramatma who is taking me through this journey, and for sure he will do it. Okay, we don't have to memorize all 36, but he's going to take. That is exactly what 66 sloka is. So if we put ourselves in Paramatma's hands, okay, don't have to remember anything.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. That's how
So I mean, he will take us through all these things. But anyway, of course, we have 24 hours a day, and we have he gave us buddhi, he gave us the energy, he gave us all this work that we need to do. So we have to follow all these practices, no matter what. But if the most important thing is to surrender to Paramatma, and he will take us through. Okay, so that is the ultimate thing. So that will come to in 66 sloka. But we are learning all these steps that Lord Krishna is giving us. So ahankara is coming into picture. It is there in the future slokas. Ahankara has to be removed. I will remove ahankara only when I know myself. I am Atma. That is what is Brahma Bhutaha. It will come right next. So if I become self-realized, okay, then so that is what this 50th sloka is saying, that once we follow slokas 51, 52, 53, we become self-realized. We are on path to become self-realization. So self-realized means what is also explained. So we'll probably see that, and we'll come back to it and then see what self-realized is. Self-realized, very like one-line answer is that self-realized means I am totally dependent on Paramatma. That is what is realization. Okay,
Yeah,
so so it is not like understanding, oh, all my greatness, I am so great, I am so great. Not that. I mean, that is also there, but the actual self-realization is that I am subservient to Paramatma. So now I have to go on the path to getting God realization. So if we think that I am great, I'm great, then we are stopping in the middle. So we are like Trisanku Swargam basically. But once, if I am truly self-realized, then I will know that I am dependent on Paramatma. So then we follow whatever Paramatma says. Okay. So then there's no ego. If there is no ego, there is no ego getting hurt. So you will do your activities. Okay. You will tell somebody in your family that, okay, this is what they need to do. Okay. Whether they do it or not, you will leave it. Your ego will not be hurt. You may try 100 times, as long as, I mean, the thing is that if our ego gets hurt, right, then we may not put the best effort. Then we become either angry or we become depressed or sad. Both are going to be not beneficial to solve the problem. If somebody doesn't do any, what they're supposed to, if we remove ourselves from the equation, that I am telling this guy, why is he not listening to me, right? That is removed.
Yeah.
That is removed. I am telling something that he was supposed to do. Okay. And this is not what I thought of as the best thing to do. It is something that is there. And then he was supposed to do it or follow, he or she or whoever it is. Then if they don't follow it, you expect that to. I mean, it's not like you when you say it, then don't say it with the expectation they're going to follow. Because if you that expectation is there, then again that is against karma yoga principle. There should be work should be done with no expectation, right?
Right.
So when the result comes, then if the result is not what the procedure is saying, like the procedure is they're supposed to, let's say, wash hands before they eat. If you will tell again, right? So you'll tell again and again and again. You'll become like, I mean, you may say I'm a robot. Yes, we have to become a robot, because that's not our goal. At the end of the day, whether somebody washes hands, they listen to me, that whether they listen to me and wash their hands, or whether they don't listen to me, did not wash their hands, has nothing to do with nothing to help me. Actually, my life is not going to be actually the other way. It is only going to hurt if I tell something, okay, you are supposed to wash your hands, and then they didn't wash their hands, and then I become my expectation is not met, and I become angry, or I'm becoming sad because they didn't listen. That anger or sadness is adding karmic bondage for us. If they listen and we become happy saying that I was able to make them change, is also adding karmic bondage. So whether they do it or not is adding karmic bondage to us. So that activity itself is not useful for us.
Yeah, it's all in you. Yeah, in us. Yeah.
So if the way we have to do it is with sannyasa bhava, exactly the previous sloka, right? So in sannyasa bhava, it is not my work, right? It's not that I am deciding that they should wash hands, isn't it? It is what is prescribed. I'm doing it with no expectation, phala tyaga, right? Whether they do it or not, I don't want to get involved in that at all. If they do it, give it to God. If they don't do it, give it to God only. Dedicate everything to Paramatma.
So
Okay?
we thinking of showing. I mean, I understand in a work level, within work, right? I mean, if person who is reporting to you, if he's not listening, showing consequences is a different thing. I mean, we have to show them consequence, otherwise we cannot manage the group. But in a normal life, right? So you are saying like, even I am thinking like, okay, they are not doing what they're supposed to do. Even though if I'm correct, I should not be thinking that I should be showing some consequences. Like, usually this is how it is, right? Human life. If they did something bad, okay, we will try to do same thing to them. That's how our ego satisfies, right? So we should not be doing that,
Yes.
right? That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what if I understood correctly, if somebody doesn't listen, doesn't follow what you're saying,
Right.
and our ego gets hurt. And in case of work, you have the way of showing that by giving them less hike or
Right.
firing
Performance and all that. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
you can call them, and then for half an hour, 1 hour, you can just scold them,
Right.
and then or give them performance bad remarks. I mean,
Yeah.
you're done. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
But and then if they leave the job, you don't care. Nothing,
Yeah.
is not going to hurt us. But it is not like that for personal thing, right? If
Right.
somebody that we have to live with doesn't listen, then the
Exactly.
problem is even higher. The problem
Yeah.
is that you cannot not have that person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to make the situation worse. But at the same time, then if they don't listen, then what do I have to do? Is right? Yeah. I mean, there's no like one answer for it. But but the thing is that what you are supposed to do will be coming to you in a better way if we are doing it with the falatyaga. That means, not having expectations and giving up the results to Paramatma. So if let us say someone doesn't wash their hands, then just a very simple small example, right? So you tell them again, and then if there is a way for them to listen to you, okay, as part of punishment, if you are capable, I mean, if you have the right to punish in a particular way, okay, not punish like a body punishment or mental physical punishment, not that way. Show your displeasure so that they would recognize that and then make corrections. That displeasure is also an activity that you are doing because it is prescribed, not because you are affected by it. So I mean, it is very difficult to practice. It's easy to say, difficult to practice. Usually what happens is we will not be able to show our displeasure. I'm telling you. This is Lord Sri Rama was never becoming angry. So once somebody gets onto this path, nothing will affect them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will never become angry. Yeah. So if you are supposed to show anger, they will become incapable of doing that. Okay. So of course there are cases where he was firm in saying that, and he was firm in responding to Sugriva, or in some cases Lakshmana, in some cases. So he was firm, but he was never angry. Okay. So, but if people are, in Kali Yuga, people don't care about you being firm, then what do? Right? So, if we become we should, if it will be great if we can control ourselves, that we don't, we show no anger at all. It would be great. It is an asset. Don't think it is because so when you don't react with anger, you will respond with anger. So there is a difference between reaction and response.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, Sri Swamiji's blessings, we get all this knowledge. So the reaction is you are compelled to do it with no thinking. It natural, it becomes immediately, like, because of the rajasic nature, rajasic quality, it immediately comes without thinking.
Right.
So again, this is the second chapter, third chapters. So response is when you think about it and take action. And typically when we think about it and take action, that is always much better than the reaction. And most of the times it is worthless. That punishment is also worthless. They don't think, we thinking that we punish somebody, they're going to listen to us, is worthless. Okay, so better to pray to God and then they will change. Because this Prakriti is not in our hands, right? I mean, that's again, it's going to come later. It was there in the previous chapters, but again, he's going to say again that we have no control on Prakriti at all. Okay, so Prakriti includes other people. And absolutely, no matter how much we have, how much powerful we are, how much, so there's no sense. So only way to overcome is to surrender to Paramatma. That will give us better result than to take things into our own hands and show our displeasure by ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, just keep doing what you're supposed to do. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, with no expectations, with no anger or hatred.
Right.
Okay, with no attachment, we do it. With no desires, we do it. With no anger or hatred, we do it. I mean, it's not, we are saying like it's there in Bhagavad Gita, right? Kama yeshaha, krodha yeshaha, rajoguna, samudbhava. They are the enemies for us. Kama, krodha, and lobha are the three enemies for us.
Right.
So we don't, we don't go to an enemy to solve our problem. Okay, I mean, that kama, krodha, that krodha we are talking about is that anger, rage, which is uncontrolled. Okay. I mean, Lord Sri Rama was not angry with Ravana, even in spite of he was doing so much, problem for Sri Rama, right? But he was always giving him a chance to correct himself, right? And live. But Ravana didn't listen, and so finally he had to take action with no anger. It is something that it is his duty to do. So there was no anger at all involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts, right? So Balaji sir said 2 points, right? Ego flashes is what he said. So what that means is, from my understanding, ego flashes, right? Every day flash, and then immediately that you need to come out of that, because you need to disassociate yourself from the body, right? So that's what is helping me. As soon as a family member, right? Obviously, nobody will listen to anybody completely, right? Or maybe because of baggage we carry so many years, we think we have agreed to disagree on something. It comes naturally, right? Just to reverse that, or be counterintuitive. This is what I'm practicing, right? Either I remain silent because I know I cannot change the situation, I cannot change the person, and then when I am not perfect, how can I make someone perfect? Because I don't have that ability other than God, right? So that's how I kind of like disassociate myself completely. This must be my 1001 janma, right? I might have many more, because my purpose is not just moksha, about that, right? Just to be Brahman and realize with that. So the journey is long, or maybe the journey is short. How do I go? How do I make best of it? Is what I think. And this is just a grain of salt, this situation, in the large grand scheme of my lives to come, or lives I've had, right? So why bother is what I think, and then I try to move on. So mostly I learned a few things from my dog. I own a dog, right? No matter what, they show unconditional love to you when you enter the house, or when you're there in the house, right? So it is something. And Balaji said one point was that ego flashes, he said. And the second thing he said was, see God in everybody. Just love, keep showing the same love, right? So let's say I have some kind of disagreement with my spouse. I walk out from there, from that place, because I don't want to say anything, respond, right? So you can, just now, Prasad sir, you said, see how you want to respond than react, right? So I don't try to react. I'm trying my best. I'm not great. When I walk out, right, I know that I'm like calm down, and then, okay, you know what, this is what it is. I have to move forward, right? Because karma is real. It is going to play the role. And then I dissociate myself completely and then go, right? And then also, this is one more thing. Even the dog, no matter how faithful and loyal they are, and no matter how much you've trained them formally, they may not listen to you all the time the way you want them to behave, right? So if that is the case, the most loyal animal or a being will not listen to you. How do we expect a human being to listen to you, right?
Right.
So, and then loving someone unconditionally, no matter what. Then I come back, and then I show the same duty towards my spouse or my son, or anybody, right? I act as if nothing happened, right? Even though some disaster would have happened. So now I started noticing their the love is even growing more than, it's not hurting so much more than that, right? So that's what I wanted to share. Mostly I'm disassociating myself with my body completely, right? As a larger person, I have purpose I have to live on, and this is just nothing in that ocean. Even at work also same thing, and even at home also it's the same thing I'm following. So it's helping me, because I was a different person totally. It's helping me. I'm not there. Sir, I just wanted to share my thoughts.
Wonderful. I mean, all what you said is exactly, following the principles of Bhagavad Gita, and you're able to practice them. That's wonderful. Yes. Yeah, it is very difficult to get to the level that you are explaining right now. I mean, it takes practice. It takes time, but you are there. I mean, with God's grace, Acharya's grace, you are able to follow. That's wonderful.
Excellent, Rupa.
Yeah.
Great job, Rupa.
No, nothing.
And,
We hope we will remember that at least half of the time, at least if we remember, we cannot argue with other person, and we cannot change anybody. At least half the bad days will be reduced.
And also, this is where, okay, chanting, memorizing, all that is helpful, but essentially, when we are able to digest and live Gita, that should be our goal. But
Yes.
Shanai Ruparameth, it slowly comes.
Yes.
It's like anything else. It's a progress, gradual progress.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So 51. We'll chant 51.
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Buddhya vishuddhaya yukto dhrutyatmanam niyamya cha shabdadin vishayam svatva ragadveshau yudasya cha. Okay, continue.
Let us
yeah, I'll continue in 52.
52, yeah, please go ahead. 52.
Yeah. Vivakta sevi laghvashi yatavakaya manasaha dhyana yoga paro nityam vairagyam samupashritaha. 53 words, Adhanan?
Yeah, 53. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuchya nirmashanto brahma bhuyaya kalpate.
Okay.
Oh, nirmamashanto.
Yeah. No problem.
Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Okay, Jai Shriman Narayana. Chapter 18, Sloka 51 summary. Lord Krishna said, one who is endowed with purified intellect, after restraining manas with determination and after giving up sense objects, one who is sound, taste, smell, form and touch, and casting off attraction and aversion. And chapter 18, Sloka 52 summary, Lord Krishna said, who lives in secluded place, who eats food in moderation, who controls speech, body and mind always, who is engaged in meditation, who abides in dispassion. Sloka 53 summary. After giving up arrogance, power of vasanas from prior births, conceit, desire, anger, covetousness, who is free from selfishness, who enjoys serenity from the experience of Atma. Sorry. That one is fit for the state of realizing the true nature of Atma. Jai Shri Manna.
Jai Shri Manna. So yeah, once
This is most of these topics I think are from Atma Samyam Yoga.
yeah,
6th
yes,
chapter.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, secluded place, eating food in moderation, controlling speech, all this. Yeah, doing meditation. Yeah. So one who practices this, one who has these qualities and practices these, whichever is applicable, then they become fit for the state of realizing the true nature of Atma. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I think giving up sense objects is very, very difficult. And once again, it takes a lot of dispassion and this knowledge to achieve that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we see something beautiful, we want to run after it, right? Something that is even more beautiful than that, once we see that, we'll stop running after the first one, right?
Yes.
if we think like, okay, let's take car, like Toyota Corolla, let us say, it's like average level car, let us say. Oh, that is great. I mean, if we have not seen the Teslas or BMWs and things like that, if we are not having any car and we see Toyota Corolla, we think, oh, great. I mean, I have to get it. I'll run after it. I have to fascinated by it. I enjoy, riding it. But when, as soon as I see the BMW or Tesla or some other high-end cars, then I'll say, oh, I want to have that one. Right? So till we understand the greatness of Atma and Paramatma, all these materialistic things seem wonderful to us. And when we realize the greatness of Atma and Paramatma, then we don't run after this. So it doesn't, I mean, it's not like we don't like them. I mean, we like them, but we will not be running after them. So yeah, giving up is very difficult unless we have something else that will take us away from them. So that is why we need to know about Atma and Paramatma. Otherwise, if you just say, hey, you should not enjoy, go out and enjoy this nature, or you should not enjoy that nice dish, you should not enjoy this nice sound, or all the physical comforts, and they'll think we are crazy. Right? When something is there, we should enjoy it, because that's what exactly they know. But there is even greater than, the enjoyment is greater than what we are enjoying, this the nature, the sense objects. Then we will we'll be able to give up the sense object and we'll go to the other side. So so we need to learn about the I mean, just to address what you're saying, it's very that's true. But I think once we know the Atma and Paramatma and his greatness, then we will probably get out of this. So that's why the Atma Jnanam is going to help us in doing the Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is supported by Atma Jnanam. So that's why second chapter starts with Atma, like defining Atma, and then its greatness and what is our goal, all that. Then talks about we had to do our karmas, where we had to give up, these materialistic pleasures and things like that, right? I mean, so it is going to help us, and then once we start giving up the sense objects, then our that is where we start focusing more on our Atma realization. So once we have completely given up the sense object, then we are self-realized.
Yeah, I think one of the key things is food, and in my experience, that is the starting point. If we can slowly, gradually practice yuktahara viharas, balance in eating, balance in entertainment, then most of the things fall in place. Once you start, for example, keeping some space in the stomach, not eating too much, eating sattvic food and all that. I think that's very important.
Yeah, well said. And I think it starts with that. Yeah, because that is the energy that gives, it is the one that is the engine, running our engine, right? So like in our car, if you put a proper oil, then it will run properly. If you put some junk oil, then the car doesn't run properly. So there was some recently there was some controversy on non-vegetarian food. If we eat, then people will have tendencies which are not good, right? So we have to try to avoid them. I mean, we should not be eating them, is what Sri Swamiji was saying. And then that was said like 2 years back. So we have to eat sattvic food. Sattvic food, not just avoiding non-vegetarian, but there are other rajasic vegetarian foods also, tamasic vegetarian foods. So all of them we have to avoid. So especially the non-vegetarian, if anyone who takes non-vegetarian, they will have a even bigger side effects, right? Of course, from a medical point of view also, they have said that non-vegetarian food is, I mean, that's why a lot of people are turning vegetarian. So in one of the Upanishads, it is given that whatever somebody is killing an animal to eat that animal for, for the sake of enjoyment, not for sake of survival, for sake of enjoyment. Then I mean, that is not what is prescribed for us. So, but we are taking that. Then we are responsible for the killing of that animal, right? So we would be taking whatever is the karmic bondage that animal is going to experience, supposed to experience, that will be transferred to us. So we will tend to, either in this life, our tendencies will become whatever was killed, or we may take birth in the next lives that is going to be whatever that animal was killed. That is there in the scripture. It's not somebody's, it's not that Sri Swamiji was, saying by himself. It is there in a scripture because I know what scripture it is, what Sri Swamiji has explained word by word for that scripture. Now, it was, Swamiji is not explaining the scripture when he said this statement that, whoever is eating non-vegetarian, now they will get those tendencies. So he was not explaining all the background and all that stuff. He was just, he had to explain something else, but in between he just said, okay, if you eat this, then you will get the same tendencies. After 2 years, because this statue of equality is going on, people who don't like the publicity and the good press that, we are, all the people who are involved in the statue of equality, not just Sri Swamiji, right? Everybody, participated in the entire communities from all over the world. Swamiji was the guiding light for the whole thing. So they targeted Sri Swamiji, saying that, oh, he says that we should not.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's an
So then
undisputed
what happened?
success.
So now here is the thing, right? So these people who targeted, they don't know what scriptures at all. It is said. They thought it is Swamiji who is saying it. Okay. See, if a doctor is prescribing you some medicine, it is not that he is giving the medicine on his own, right? There is a book, there is a there's a procedure, and based on that, doctor is prescribing. So then it is not just a doctor's, personal opinion or something like that to give that medicine. Nobody can just personally say, oh, I think this will work, and then give a medicine. Then they are liable to all kinds of lawsuits. But if there is a FDA approval and all that, they're following some procedures, then doctor is not liable, right? So when that 2 years back when that was said and that was cut in the middle, right? There is a lot of text, a message before it, and after that, they cut the 2 minutes of that, and then they said, oh, and he's against all the people who are eating non-vegetarian, and Swamiji is insulting everybody, which is absolutely not the case. Okay. And this is something that, I was just thinking about this example when we said ego problem, right? If I'm saying that because I thought whoever is eating non-vegetarian is going to become like will take birth as whatever the animal got killed, right? If that is what my thinking is, my own opinion, then I should feel affected by it. My ego gets hurt, or I will take the responsibility for it. But if it is something that is there in the scripture, people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, then it's whatever is in the scriptures I'm telling, right? So because nobody has seen, like, of course we see all these animals, they're all over the world. How somebody is getting an animal life and somebody is not getting animal life is there in our scriptures. That's exactly what we are saying. So it is when just because food has come, I'm sorry, just a little bit digression. Whatever we eat is definitely the primary factor in determining our responses in this life, and according to scriptures, for many lives to come, because we are responsible for someone's not experiencing those karmic bondages in that particular body. Okay, so that whatever action we took is now making us responsible to experience all those, and somebody has to experience it, right? That Atma cannot experience, and that Atma cannot be penalized for it. So who has to experience that? The one who ate. So I mean that is what is there in the scriptures, and so yeah, I mean eating proper food is one of the key things. Proper food, and also not too much, not too less. I hope I didn't say something that is controversial, but it is simply the fact that it's there in an Upanishad, and then that is what. So that's why, I mean, food has been given very, very critical importance. From food only, everything, all our reactions, body actions, reactions start. Because food is the one that is either helping us or corrupting us.
So one question, sir, Harprasad sir. So if there is some desire, right, for the food, meaning, so like sweet, that is something I cannot get over with that, right? So I'm one sweet, if I eat, I want to eat one more. All right. I'm trying to control, but I cannot. But that's a desire, right? So if God forbid something happens to me tomorrow, right, and then I die with that desire, right, then again I'm going to be coming back and hold the same desire in my next lives. Is that what it is? Or I'll have more lives just because that desire should be fulfilled?
No, I don't. I mean, so basically, these desires are not making us focus on Paramatma. That's what it is. It is not like, okay, having the desire of eating sweet is, is going to make you take another birth. Okay. But because of the desire, you're not able to focus on Paramatma. You're focusing on something that is materialistic. You want to experience it. That will give you the karmic bondage, and will, I mean, not you, I mean, just saying, the whoever is doing that, they would have to experience that, right? I mean, what is that? Desire is a rajasic desire. Whatever rajasic qualities are there, that will decide what birth we are going to take in our next life, right? So that desire is giving, it is based on an inherent quality, right? So the desire to experience materialistic things, let us say it is rajasic. Now that means you are developing rajasic quality. If we develop rajasic quality in this life, our next birth is going to be rajasic in nature. Okay. Rajasic or tamasic. It cannot be sattvic. It will not be sattvic. So it is making us take another birth because we developed that quality. You got what I'm saying? So if we are not trying to develop any quality, okay, or at least trying to develop sattvic quality, we are on a better path. But if we have the desires, for materialist, raga dveshas are rajasic, or we want to become lazy, I'm not going to do any activity, that is tamasic. So I'm becoming rajasic or tamasic in this life. It will drive me to, it has to give me another birth of this, either rajasic or tamasic only. According to Bhagavad Gita, that's the rule. So, so unfortunately, that is not that the fact that I was not able to eat, that is not directly responsible. The fact that we are, whether we are eating or not eating, the desire is there, that's it. So if sattvic is that we are focused on sattvic buddhi, sattvic buddhi is focusing on Atma. So if I'm having the sattvic buddhi, right, sattvic nature, then I'm moving upwards, right? Does anyone remember that sloka?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. So sattva takes us higher, rajasic keeps us in the middle, and tamasic takes us down. Okay. So it is what kind of quality that we are developing is what will determine our next life. Whether we are fulfilling that desire or not, it doesn't matter.
Okay, but in future to avoid, right? Let's say, I just sometimes, if I have few minutes, I just end up making rava kesri and then I'll eat. I know it's not good, but that's a desire, right? So you're saying if I get that thought, right? Should I just say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to go to the kitchen and not going to push that thought off, push as much as I can. Is that how I need to follow?
So what we need to do in that case is any activity that we do is do it as worship to God. Lord Krishna has given us so beautiful principles. I mean, he's not asking everybody to become sannyasi, give up everything. He's not saying that you give up the food that you're eating, give up the activities that you are doing. No. The problem is that we want to enjoy it for ourselves. That is where the problem is. So if you connect it to Paramatma and then do it, then you have no problems. So do it as prasadam, like do it as offering to Paramatma. Then enjoy the sweet or how much ever you want, no problem. I mean, after some time, you will not feel like, So the problem is that if we, I want to eat it is when it comes, right? That pulls me so much. How much of us, how many of us we think that Paramatma wants this sweet and I need to make it for him? If we are going to that level, then yeah, make the sweet and every day 5 sweets, offer it to Paramatma and eat. But trying to make the sweet and enjoying it for yourself is like eating papam. That's what there in the 3rd chapter, right? So if we don't offer and if we eat it for our own sake, we are eating papam. So I mean, every activity that we do, we should do it as offering to God only. I mean, that is what, so that it doesn't matter which activity it is, whether you're cooking food or washing dishes or doing the programming or managing other people or driving. I mean, any activity that we do, just do it as a worship to God. Then we have no issues. I mean, there's absolutely no karmic bondage resulting from that. And also when we are eating, for example, when we are eating, we say Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, right? And offer it to Paramatma inside us and let him enjoy. We'll think that way and then let him enjoy. Then yes, we'll enjoy it, but our enjoyment will be even more actually. And then after some time we lose, I mean, because Paramatma is not forcing us to eat sweet or something like that, right? So once we become focused on Paramatma, then our own desires will vanish. Whatever may be the activity that we are doing, we'll start doing it as worship to Paramatma, as his blessings and for him, for his enjoyment. Does it
Yeah, sure. So thank you, sir. Yeah, and then I just saw the slide. Yes, slide 6. Sorry, the point 6 and 7 sums it all also, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is like, yeah, I mean, it is easy to say these things, right? Free from eating too much or too less, not running after worldly temptations. They're all difficult to do, but we need to attach them to Paramatma, right? I mean, all these techniques were given in the previous. So this is like a summary that we are going through. So once someone is able to control the speech, body, and mind always, that person is fit to be, realize the true nature of Atma. So they will be able to reach that state, self-realized state. So how do I do this? How do I control body, speech, and mind? Lord Krishna explained all previous chapters. He's the one who is Hrishikesa. So he controls our senses. So we offer our senses to him. Anything that we experience through our senses, we offer it to him. Then our temptations will reduce. Our mind will be in control. So I mean, there are so many things that we went through earlier. Yeah, but these are very key. So we should give up sense objects. No attractions or hatred. So these desires and hatred should not be there. We have to do the meditation. Give up ahankara. So all this, once we are able to do this, we are on the path towards self-realization. Okay, so look at 54. It's 6:54 here. Okay, Sloka 54. Who will chant Sloka 54?
Yeah, I can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Sloka 54. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. Yes, Ramanarayana, chapter 18, Sloka 54 summary. Lord Krishna said, one who realized the true nature of Atma, whose mind is unperturbed by the pains caused by the karmas, who neither grieves nor craves, who is equal in all beings, obtains supreme devotion for me. Jai Sriman Narayana.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is who is equal?
In all beings.
Yeah, in all came twice. Sorry.
Yeah. So
In all beings. Okay. So yeah, so it should be just beings here. Bhuteshu is beings. In beings. Sarveshu is in all. So, and as we said in Sanskrit, if you are splitting the word, the vibhakti applied on two words, both the words. So sarva bhuta is the all beings, and if it is in all beings, then in English you just say in all beings, but in Sanskrit you have to say sarveshu bhuteshu. So that way you change the order of the words, it doesn't change the meaning. But in if you have this in all beings, if you change the order, like then beings come first, then beings in all in beings. I mean, that in will not be applied to one of the words, right? So that's the problem. So then both the words should follow the in.
Yeah.
So that order becomes important. But in Sanskrit, the order could be anything. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is, I was explaining about Brahma Bhutaha. So here, so earlier, he was saying attain Brahma, right? So Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate is fit to attain the state of Brahma. That is true nature of Atma, not God. Okay. So then after that stage, so after that, so after 51, 52, 53, so after all these things, right? This, how many? 16 are there. After this 16, one becomes fit to get the true nature of Atma. So that is what is included here. Brahma Bhutaha. So he has already, he's practicing all those things. Then, Brahma Bhutaha. Now, in addition, Prasannatma, one who is not disturbed, does not grieve or lament or crave for things. So this Brahma Bhutaha is self-realized, not Atma, no, not God-realized. The reason is that he's saying after all these things, then obtains Mad Bhakti, supreme devotion to me, right? So if this Brahma Bhuta itself is God realization, then it doesn't seem logical to say that you already obtain good God realized, right? And then you will become devoted for God, devotion, and then you will obtain devotion for God, or you will develop bhakti towards God. No, right? So this has to be Atma. Then, so once one is self-realized, that means they understand the true nature of the self. Then, along with that, they are totally not disturbed. So each one of them I explained here. And then they're not affected by, anything that is other than Paramatma. Not affected by means they're neither crying for anything other than Paramatma, nor longing for anything other than Paramatma. Their only goal is Paramatma. And one who is equal in all beings will go through that. So then they will obtain supreme devotion for God, supreme devotion for God. So this must be self-realization, and this Brahma is self-realized. Okay. And because Brahma Bhutaha Madbhaktim Labhate, so this person is going to get my devotion, right? Or is devoted towards me, is very clearly showing that the Brahma Bhuta is distinct from me, right? Otherwise, you would say Brahma Bhutaha will get bhakti towards himself. I mean, again, that doesn't sound logical, because once already becomes Brahma Bhutaha, that means he's already God realized. If Brahma is same as God, or self is same as God, then there is no, it doesn't sound logical that after one is God realized, then they will develop bhakti towards God. I mean, as if God is somebody somewhere else, right? I mean, that's what it is saying. They didn't say they'll develop bhakti towards themselves. Then yes, I mean, that at least to some extent we could say that, but this is saying bhakti towards me. So I am different from the Brahma Bhuta. That means I am God, Okay, I am distinct from the Atma. So one who is self-realized is distinct from me. I am superior compared to him. So that is Purushottama Prapti Yoga is very clearly said. So again, this is coming here. So I just wanted to, even though, I mean, it doesn't, if you just read the words, it is not that clear, but it is very clearly mentioned here that this is Atma, one who is self-realized. Then they will develop bhakti towards God, who is distinct from Atma. And Prasannatma is one who is not disturbed by any pains caused by the karmas or effect of karmic bondage. I mean, not just heat, cold. I mean, that is what is the Jitatma in the previous sloka. In 49, sloka 49, he used the word Jitatma. Jitatma came in many places. So that is conquered mind. But that conquered mind is not running after the senses and control, basically is able to control the senses, sensory tendencies. I want to experience all those sensory pleasures, and also the not affected by the dualities, heat, cold, Sita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, Mana, Mana. So those three, plus of course any, those ups and downs, we are not affected by them, which are basically based on our expectations. So we're not affected by them. So that is what is Jitatma. This Prasannatma is like at a higher stage. Now we are self-realized that any problem occurs to us, problem, or it could be even, like great positive things for us. Still the mind is not affected. Any problem that could be the biggest that we can think of, still they will not be affected by it. Okay, why would they be not affected by it? Anyone? Will not be affected by any pains, will not be disturbed. The mind will not be disturbed, will be calm, undisturbed, despite any pain caused for us.
No, no expectations, sir.
Yeah, no expectation, but that is at a lower level.
Mm-hmm. Your focus is at higher thing, right? And now by the time that in that state,
Yeah,
not in this low things, your mind is already focused on higher Paramatma.
yeah, yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there is our goal is only Paramatma. So there is no, we are not affected by anything that happens in the lower level. The lower level is all the materialistic level. So body, money, relationships, or anything that happens in the materialistic level is not going to affect this person. It doesn't mean that they become like a totally rock, right? They will be responding to whatever is happening, but they will not be disturbed by it. So for example, some natural calamities occur. So Sri Swamiji, for example, yeah, they feel the pain. Uh, they try to help those who are in need, right? But it is not that mental disturbance that will occur. It is that they are doing it as service to God. So I mean, Vaishnava is, the definition of Vaishnava is anyone who feels the pain of others, right? I mean, no, it doesn't, it's not some other praying to God or something like that. I mean, it's like anyone who feels the pain. Yeah, I mean, so they are able to recognize that and they want to help, but their mind is always calm, undisturbed. Okay, so then one more thing is that once we are truly self-realized, we kind of immediately understand that it is our karmic bondage that is taking effect. Okay, so there's nothing that that we can do about it, right? Once we are truly self-realized, we are dependent on Paramatma. There's no question like Paramatma is biased, right? I mean, it's like if we don't understand properly, then we may think, oh, Paramatma is biased and he's doing something bad to me and all that. I didn't expect this from Paramatma. And I know it is very difficult to, practice this. It's not easy thing. We blame Paramatma. So we either blame ourselves, we blame somebody else, or if we are truly, devotee, then we say Paramatma is at fault. But these people, they have no such, they will simply pray to God, and it's up to Paramatma if they want to reduce the pain or not. So their mind is undisturbed. Okay, so things are happening because of the karmic bondage. Things are happening because of some, we are supposed to go through those things. And why we are going through those things is also very clear. So, yeah, they're not disturbed. Equal in all beings, right? So there is Atma in every body, right? All these Atmas are all equivalent, having same infinite knowledge, no matter what body they're occupying. Okay. So, and we understand very clearly why these differences in bodies are occurring. Because we are self-realized. We know, I am Atma, why I'm here, and what is karmic bondage, what is my goal, all that is very clear to me. So, understand the differences in bodies, why they are occurring, not because God is, biased or wants to punish people or something like that, because he doesn't like, or we are not praying to him, or we are not praying to a particular God. Doesn't matter. Understands why the differences in body are coming. Right? So one is equal in all being means equally indifferent. This is very critical, like equally indifferent towards all beings other than Paramatma. So no excessive love or attachment to anyone other than Paramatma. No, does not hate anyone at all. Okay, does not have any being other than Paramatma as their goal. Right? Typically, we are attached to somebody, like, family, job, and all that, or even society, country, and all that, race, caste, whatever. So all these attachments we have, and then hatred towards anything that is outside that, and then have biases. If it is family, they do something, okay, no problem. But if it is someone outside, they do something, it's absolutely a big problem. If it is a different person, different religious person, it's a totally different problem. If it is my own religion person, some other problem. I mean, so all these attachments, biases that people bring into their lives. The person who is fit to obtain the supreme loving devotion of God is going above all things. So who is equal in all beings. So doesn't matter whether it's human, any animal, bird, doesn't matter. So so it will not be like I cannot hurt somebody, some human for fun, but I can hurt an animal for fun. It will not be like that. Unfortunately, people don't have this knowledge. They're all getting karmic bondage. Because they're able to say, oh, human life is more valuable than bird life or animal life, another animal life. So they have laws that will say that you cannot hurt a human for fun, right? Or even when you're angry, you cannot hurt. Okay. But there's no such law which prevents somebody from hurting an animal. They can't eat a human, but they can eat an animal. And there's no punishment for it. I mean, for survival, it is fine. I'm just saying that, it is not somebody's opinion. It is our scriptures which say that we see equal. I mean, if hurting an animal and eating the animal is fine, then it should be same for humans also. Why should be different? Okay, so which I know people will be very mad, but as far as scriptures are concerned, God is concerned, doesn't matter whether somebody is human, somebody is animal, something else. There are prescriptions like, okay, you can say a lion can eat a deer, right? I mean, for survival, that is prescribed. Okay, but just hunting a deer for fun is not prescribed. Okay, so but if somebody is doing that for fun, then they're equally bad as hurting a human. So they may be just saying deer, what is so great about it? It's just an animal I just killed. But it is as bad as killing another human in the eyes of God, because God treats all beings as equal, loves all beings as equal, right? Equally, and doesn't hate any. Just because it's a deer or a spider doesn't matter. Doesn't hate any being, right? So people who do not know this, they think human beings are higher level, so we have to treat them differently compared to other beings, and it leads to karmic bondage. It leads to people going downwards. Is that okay? I mean, did I explain fine?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we have only a few minutes. We'll go through a few slokas today. Start with the prayer. Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishno Rakshatano Jagatraya Guruhu. Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishne Namarasyatravo Vinihataha. Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Deva Samuthitam Jagadidam. Krishnasya Dasosmyaham. Krishne Tisthati Sarvametadakhilam. He Krishna Samrakshamam. Sloka 55. Please chant. Bhaktya mam abhijanati
Bhaktya mam abhijanati
Abhijanati
yavan yaschasmi tattvataha
Yavanyastasmi tattvataha
tato mam tattvato gnatva
Tato
Tato
mam
mam
tattvato
tato
gnatva
visate tadanantaram.
Vishate
visate tadantam
tadanantaram
Let's chant together.
Bhaktya
bhaktya
mam
abhijanati
abhijanati Yavanyastasmi
yavanyasmi
tattvataha
tattva
Tato
tato
mam
mam
tattvato
tato
gnatva
gnatva
Vishate
visate
tadanantaram
tadanantaram.
Okay, so in the previous sloka, Lord Krishna explained that who obtains supreme devotion for God, right? Who obtains the bhakti? Okay, labhate param madbhaktim, madbhaktim labhate param. He said, who he explained. Okay, so in the next sloka, he is starting. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Bhaktya, okay. It is with that bhakti, by this supreme devotion. So after one obtains that supreme devotion for Paramatma, what is going to happen with that bhakti is explaining. With that bhakti, or by that supreme devotion, mam abhijanati, the one understands me. Okay, tattvataha, truly. So that bhakti will make us understand him truly. Okay. Yavan yaha cha asmi. So who am I? Yaha asmi, yavan asmi. Who am I and how much great I am, or what am I? So with bhakti, one understands really who am I and how great I am. Okay. Tataha mam tattvataha jnatva visate tadanantaram. So what happens after that? After knowing about God, who he is and how great he is, tadanantaram, thereafter, after knowing Jnatva, after knowing him, tattvataha, again he's using the word tattvataha, after knowing him truly, tataha, from that bhakti, mam visate, one enters me. Visate is me, entering. Okay, so with that bhakti, one truly understands me, who am I and how great I am. And with that bhakti, after that, with that knowledge, with that bhakti, from with that knowledge, from that bhakti, they enter me. So what does entering means?
Aikyam?
They are becoming like me.
Yeah, like almost.
I think it is being in God's consciousness always. In 12th chapter also, this sloka, Maya Vesha Manoyama. Nityakta upasate. So avesham means always be in my thinking, always be in my consciousness.
Right.
Oh, means God's the person will be in God's consciousness, or
Avesha. Yeah, Avesha means you are
Entering.
always in his entering. You are always in his thoughts. You are experiencing God consciousness all the time. That's what entering means.
We are
that's
thinking,
just my
or
understanding.
God is thinking about us?
No. We have to
We
think.
are thinking about God, and we are thinking most of our time spending thinking about God. That's what the means.
It's not really thinking. I would say you are in that consciousness. You're not separately thinking. You reach a stage where you are experiencing.
Experience
everywhere all the time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Shravana Manana Niridhyas, right? That's the contemplation. You are always contemplating about him. Like that. Suppose you are practicing asana. In each asana, you are only thinking about Paramatma, like that. You can understand. That's my understanding. Sorry.
Yeah, all are correct. I mean, that's true. I mean, so we are all parts of him only, even now.
Yes.
Right? So, I mean, this is different from, other schools of thought that, we have to pray to God in order to be blessed by God, to enter God. I mean, and that's something that, or otherwise, if I don't pray to God, he will punish me, something like that. There's no such thing. We are already part of him. And so it is our realization, that we are part of him is what is missing, right? So God is pervading everything. So truly, I mean, that is what, who am I truly, and what am I, how much great I am. So that is, we are going to learn only with this bhakti. Like unless we have the bhakti, we will not be able to understand him truly. Okay. So bhakti is what is very important. Like, so in order to get bhakti, we need to, he gave all the prerequisites for those things, right? One who is fit to get that bhakti or supreme devotion for Paramatma. So once we go through that, I mean, see, just like seeing all as equal, right? Because we know that Paramatma is, I mean, once we start seeing that, then we know that Paramatma is in everything, then, all that. And isn't it, I should not be hurting the animal because it is Paramatma loves even the animal. I shouldn't be hurting the animal. If I'm hurting the animal, I'm going against his wishes, because he said, I love all beings, right? All beings are dear to him. So if I truly love, like if I love somebody and that person loves a toy, right? I will not break the toy just for fun, isn't it? So just a materialistic example, like we want to take care of the toy for him because he loves the toy. Okay, so that is the true meaning of love, right? Devotion is nothing but unconditional love. So when we love God so much unconditionally, okay, then all this naturally fall true. I mean, fall means we will take care of all beings. We will serve all beings. We will not see any differences because God doesn't see any differences, not only in human beings, but in all beings. So, and how we'll understand how great God is. God is the reason behind the sun. God is the reason behind earth, behind the air that we are breathing, the rains that we are getting. God is behind the food that is getting digested in us. God is behind the heart beating every time. God is behind our breathing. God is behind our blood circulation in our body, in the entire our body function. God is behind the entire nature working as we expect it to work. So behind everything, God is there. Behind, so how great God is. I mean, just a few I mentioned, like previous chapters, Vibhuti Vistara Yoga and all that he explained a lot. But we'll understand with that bhakti. Otherwise, we'll not understand it so much. We'll always criticize. We'll try to find faults with the logic, isn't it? If you don't like somebody, whatever truth they're saying, also we don't like. So when we love somebody, we understand truly who they are, and then from that we are able to unite with him. Means we don't do anything that is against him. Okay. So I mean, just the example that you gave about the cooking, right? So if you want to, if I'm truly united with Paramatma in that feeling, I mean, I'm always there, but I'm experiencing Paramatma in everything. I don't want to cook anything for myself. Whatever I cook is for Paramatma only. It is every activity that I do is considered as his wish or will. I will not have anything that is beyond his wish or will, outside his. If I am doing something, if it is his wish, I will do. If not, I will not do. That means I will do only prescribed things, right? I mean, not everything is, like it's not like Lord Krishna is coming and sitting next to me and telling me all these things every day, every minute, you have to do this, you have to do that, right? But once I truly know him, okay, then after knowing that really, then I will be able to enter him. Means I will be able to unite with him. I will not have anything that is separate from him. Okay. My goal is him. My activities are his activities. My enjoyments are his enjoyments. Like that. I mean, so I am part of him. Like if my fingers are part of my body, and my body decides to go to New York, and then my fingers also go along with it, right? I can't say I don't want to go to New York, right? So I mean, whatever I decide to do, it is his wish. I mean, to that level we go. Okay. And it is not like I want to do this, so I take God's name and do it. No. So I mean, I have some examples also for that. I mean, some people take God's name and then hurt people. Okay. Because truly behind the scenes, they want power and all that stuff, right? So take God's name and then hurt other people, which God never said you should hurt other people for my sake, right? When he said, I love everyone. Okay, so there's no reason for us to say, unless it is there in the scriptures for a particular purpose, for survival, there are certain things that are documented as what we are supposed to do. It's not like, I cannot hurt. So, God is present in, a vegetable and or a tree, that I'm supposed to, let us say I'm a vegetarian, I want to eat that. Now, oh, God loves this vegetable, now I cannot cut it. It is not like that, because it is prescribed for us. We have to do our duty. Whatever is prescribed, we need to do. And it does not give me karmic bondage. Now, if I do it as his wish, that God, you gave me this body, I need to survive. You gave me this knowledge that I need to eat. you gave me the food for me to eat, and this is this is what is prescribed for me. So now I am eating that food for your, as your wish, for your satisfaction. I'm eating, and you give me the energy, because my eating is not giving me energy. He's the one who is giving me energy. So typically this is where the connection is lost. We think whatever we eat, that food is giving us the energy. No. Okay. So if that is the case, then somebody who is sick can be fed, all whatever that gives, energy, and then they should immediately start running, right? So food is just like a mechanism for us to, is our duty or action, but the result is not based on the food. It is based on Paramatma. So Paramatma is the one who is giving us the energy. So then, that's how I need to do my duties. So I'll do the duties, whatever is described again. So that is the process, right? So I'm always with him. I'm always united with him. I entered him, basically. So whatever I'm doing is his, right? So whatever my fingers are doing is mine, right? My body's. So fingers don't have anything on their own to do. So fingers entered my body. Same way I am in God. I am doing everything as part of God's body, as he wishes. Any questions, Andy? Today we covered only one sloka. So 2.5 hours almost.
Yeah, Varprasad, this confusion is coming because Bhagavan clearly said there is, see, everything is him.
Yes.
So that is actually what people have to realize is that is something that you have to mentally practice. So when you are in awakening state, you cannot apply that. It's not possible. That's where people are getting confused, in my opinion. In awakening state, the rich fellow is rich fellow, poor fellow is poor fellow, and
awakening
king is a
statements.
king.
Awakening statements
Means when we are awake, when we are we have to do our day-to-day activities. Then you cannot say manager and I are the same. But the idea here is when we are actually, we know that
okay,
both.
okay, got it. I'm sorry to interrupt. No, I mean, see, it is not a question of whether awakened or not awakened. Okay, I mean, I understand.
No, yeah, sorry. When I say awakening, when we are the transactional world, that's what I meant. But,
it is not even that question. So the transactional, I mean, this is where the difference in concept comes, right? So a person who is self-realized, who realizes Atma, I am Atma, this Atma is in this body. All beings have Atmas, and all Atmas are equal. Bodies are different. Okay, they are like that even when they are doing the transactions in the materialistic world. Okay,
correct.
when they interact with the other person, okay, they will not say, I will not go and say I am CEO. See, the CEO is a title given to a body. Okay, correct. Right? So I understand that bodies are different, duties are different, titles are all different, but they are all given to bodies. Okay, and every body has a different duty depending on varnashrama criteria. So I will see them as different only. Bodies are different. I'm not saying that the bodies are same. What I'm saying is that atmas in all are same. So I will not differentiate a human from a deer and I will say it is okay to hurt a deer, but not human. I will not say that. Okay, because I understand they are equal at that level of being. Okay, but I will not bring a like a snake and keep it in my bedroom, because I understand that snake has its own duties, its own qualities. I cannot have a snake as a pet, right? So I understand the difference in bodies. So we are not saying that we should always see all bodies are equal. No, bodies are not equal, but we have to treat all bodies with the same unbiased, unbiased approach. Okay, so it is not that I have a favoritism to one type of body and another, that becomes racism, right? What is racism? It's simply that they are able to differentiate by race, differentiate by religion or caste, creed, all those things. So the person who is truly realized person, they will be able to, even when they are interacting in the materialistic world, they are able to apply this principle. Okay, and we should be able to apply. That's where the difference is. Like, it is not like I will not, I will act like any ordinary person, as a non-realized person, when I'm doing the activities in the materialistic world. But when I'm doing the meditation, I will think of me being equal and everybody being equal. No, that is not true, because this knowledge, whatever knowledge that we're getting, is for us to apply in our life, in day-to-day life. It is not something that is written just to get liberation. So I don't know if I was able to understand your question and answer.
No, yeah. That is correct.
So I mean, typically we have a tendency to think that, oh, all this knowledge is not for people who are interacting with other people, in the materialistic world. That's absolutely the opposite. Like, all this knowledge is only for us to interact with other people in this entire world. It is not just for the sake of doing puja in a corner and then forget about it. So Bhagavad Gita is all the principles are for our application in the real world, and this world is real, not imaginary. This world is created by Paramatma. Anything that is created by Paramatma is real. It's a reality. So we deal with it knowing the reality that these are all the bodies, why these bodies are different, and even though atmas are same, why are we getting all this? So I mean, that is we apply these principles while interacting, so to make ourselves better.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Yeah. We'll continue the next slokas next week.
Okay, sir.
Any questions, Andy, before we conclude?
If after stop recording, I'll ask one question, sir. Just
Sure.
not have a
Yeah.
controversy. You may ask. I mean, you can answer late next week, but
Yeah. So we'll conclude and then we'll
yeah.
stop recording and then. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriya Svabhat Karomi Sagatam Parasmai Narayana Sriman Narayana Sarvam Shri Krishna
Krishnarpanamastu.
Om Asmad Guru
Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha.
Jai
Jai
Shriman
Shrimanarayan.
Jai Shriman. One moment, let me stop recording.